Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Yeah, studio audience, you always make it do what it do, baby. Yes. I know I'm late, and y'all could probably hear why. I have literally been sick all this week, and despite how I sound, I actually feel better today than I have felt all week. Granted, I still am not going anywhere. Like, I have been super intentional about literally doing nothing this week. Like, Tuesday, so in hindsight, what I realized is I was starting to get sick Monday, because my pattern for when I get sick, and I usually get sick like this about once a year, is where I feel really tired the night before. So Monday, I felt really tired Monday night, right? And it actually started like earlier in Monday. Then Tuesday, I woke up with a sore throat and, started gargling with warm salt water and all that. So I feel like that really helped to where the sore throat only lasted on Tuesday. And then, though by the later on in Tuesday, I was just like, okay, you're actually like getting sick. Like, I was coughing and stuff like that. And so I canceled everything else that I had. I went to like 2 meetings on Tuesday, wore a mask to the second one just because I'm like, I think that's just good practice when you're sick, period. I will say I never really thought about that before COVID, but I think just in general, you shouldn't be spreading your germs around when you're sick, even if it's just a cold. And so wore a mask to my second meeting, and then went home and have not done anything else the rest of this week. I've literally just been in the house, not even doing work from home. Like, I have really been intentional about resting. And I feel like that has been super helpful, because even though I still kind of sound sick, I still have a little bit of a runny nose and a cough. It's not as bad as it had been. And also, I don't feel sick in my body. Like, body aches and all that have slowly but surely gone away. And so, though, with that is why we are late this week. And that is also why there are no visuals, because I kind of went back and forth okay, do I wait until I actually feel like getting dressed to be on camera, or do I just put some content out? Because there is stuff that I want to talk about, and I decided to go that route. Now, what I haven't decided, at least as of right now, is whether or not I'm going to even put anything up on YouTube at all, because I'm not recording any visuals, since I don't use StreamYard anymore, but also we have an internet outage in our area, so I couldn't use them right now if I wanted to. Literally just recording on my Rodecaster. Sorry, I don't know what I just heard. But anyways, literally I'm just recording on my Rodecaster, so there aren't any visuals connected to this recording anyway. And so I haven't done that since I started uploading videos. So I would have to go through Headliner and have them create a video for me. And so I may do that. I'm just, as of right now, I really can't do anything with the internet. So for right now, I am recording, and we'll see when I can actually upload it, because we have an internet outage in our area. Nevertheless, this week has given me a lot of time to think But if I'm honest, let's just get back to this recording right now. This is actually kind of freeing to be able to just record, not have to worry about like looking at the camera or what I'm doing on camera or any of that. This is actually probably the best way for me to record if I'm going to record something, since I don't feel well anyways. But I have had a lot of time to think this week because I have spent a lot of time alone, never really fully alone because Gizmo is always there. And I'm sure that Gizmo has appreciated that, aside from when we go to bed, because he does have to sleep in his, bed, which zips closed. But aside from that, he has been able to be free and has not had to get in the kennel because I haven't left. So there's no reason for me to put him in the kennel. And what I love is because I haven't, there have been days, so like today and yesterday, I didn't even set an alarm. And so I just kind of was like, well, I'm going to just wake up when I wake up. And, I'm telling y'all, I've gotten like 10, 11 hours of sleep the past couple of nights, and now it wasn't uninterrupted because like I had to like get up to go to the bathroom, but that's just how much I've really been on this resting tip while I've been sick, which I'm actually kind of proud of myself because usually there's a level of guilt where I feel guilty about resting when I'm sick, to where I would have still been on some trying to work from home type stuff. But nope, the people that I do anything for, they know I'm sick, and it just is what it is because I realized I really needed this rest. Like, I'm actually not grateful I got sick, but just grateful I've had so many days of just doing nothing. But with that, it has brought on a lot of time to think and reflect on life. And one of the things that I really thought about more recently, even I was already kind of thinking about it, but what actually made me think about it even more is, and I haven't even listened to the episode yet, but like Baylor tagged me in a tweet. And if you know anything about Baylor, you know that when he tags you in tweets related to his episodes, that means he mentioned you or he whatever. So I gotta, go listen to the episode to see what he's talking about. But with that, it really just reminded me how disconnected I have felt from the podcast community because I've been so busy and haven't been present. Like, I remember on, I think it was Father's Day, I text, a bunch of the pod homies that are dads, happy Father's Day. And one of them, I'm trying to remember who, it was Ivan, shout out to Views from the Seven, was like, dang, he said like, where you been or something like that. And I was just like, I just been busy. Like, that's literally it, because I've had so many subcontracting clients, and it would be back to back to back to back to back to back appointments where I'm either in the car driving to an appointment or in an appointment. And then you got to document what you do. And so it's just been a super busy season. And it just made it where I had to kind of cut back on certain areas of my life. And the virtual world was the easiest place to scale back. Now, the pod crew, we know I talk to them every day. You know what I mean? But with that, the past few days, I've really been thinking about just, and I always use this kind of metaphor that like, okay, so I usually start out, and really humans tend to do this, where they start out on one side of the pendulum and then they swing way too far to the other side of the pendulum. And then they kind of find their way back to like a healthier middle ground. And so, we're coming up on my 4-year anniversary of podcasting. Yes. Had to cut them off a little quicker, but that's crazy because those of y'all who have been around know that consistency was not a thing when it comes to creativity back in the day. So the fact that no matter what, even if I'm a few days late, but no matter what, every week something has come out. Like, that's dope, because this is episode 197. Like, that's crazy. But with that, when I first started podcasting, like, no one that I knew personally in real life, nobody that I knew had a podcast. And so I feel like a lot of people didn't even really understand what I was doing. I probably really didn't even understand like what I was doing, but I just knew I needed a therapeutic creative outlet, and it has been like so great for me and has opened so many doors and this, that, and the other. But with that, in order to have community and in order to surround myself with like-minded people, I made a lot of friends and did a lot of networking on the internet, predominantly Twitter, somewhat Instagram, and then somewhat TikTok as well, right? And not at first TikTok, because at first I wasn't even on TikTok. But the thing about it is, all of my networking connections when it came to podcasting was on the internet. And still, that is where all the networking that I've done now. Then what happened is years went by, and then I started becoming way more involved with my creative team at my church this year. And then also I simultaneously got busier with subcontracting clients. So then what that meant was I had to scale back in certain areas. And so the easiest place to scale back was the virtual world. And so I have like really disconnected from the podcast community, not like on I'm mad or whatever, because I don't even know most of y'all like that to even have those types of thoughts. It's just haven't really made an effort, haven't even had time to listen to people's shows. So then if I'm not tweeting at people, my podcast rotation, I'm not on Twitter like that, this, that, and the other. I'll reach out to certain people every now and then, like call them, check in, see how you doing. Because what I used to do is just have people on the show when I wanted to like have a more in-depth conversation with them. I ain't had nobody on the show and I don't know how long. Like, it's probably been almost a year since I've had a guest on the show even, because I remember when I recorded a bunch of guest episodes to take a break last September, and I don't know that I've had any guests on since then. I think about all that though, and how like I just miss certain things I used to do, karaoke battles, even just going live in general. Like, there's just so many things that I used to do that I just really have not had time to do. But as I've been sick, excuse me, and I've just really had time to do a lot of thinking and a lot of reflecting. And I already kind of felt like I've been in this transitional stage of life or whatever. Like, I can always feel when something is going to transition, even if I don't like know what it is or how it's going to happen or whatever. I can always feel when things are shifting, like before it happens. And so I've already felt that way. And I've been trying to kind of figure out, okay, Lord, what are you inviting me into now? Like, what is going on? And I have less subcontracting clients, but y'all, the month of August, woo, and I've talked about it on here a little bit, but like, when I look back at the month of August as a whole, it is probably the roughest month I've had in I don't know how long, because it was really like a month of just pruning. And if you don't know what pruning is, it's when typically a gardener will take a plant and cut away the dead things that are hindering, the plant from growing in a healthy way. And so if you apply that to like being mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually healthy, man, the month of August, there were just so many different battles that I walked through that I don't know. I didn't really talk to people about, not in a prideful way, but I just knew it was just something I had to go through just on my own. And it wasn't anything that was like hindering me from like doing what I needed to do. It's just a lot of tears were shed. A lot of conversations were had with the Lord and this, that, and the other. And so August was wild, right? So even though I had less clients in August, it was like I was grateful that I had less clients because it gave me the space and the capacity to be able to process all of that emotional stuff and like slow down and this, that, and the other. But then like now that I've been sick and I've just kind of been home a lot, I've been like, okay, not what am I doing with my life in a hopeless way, but literally like, okay, Lord, what are you inviting me into? What, like, yeah, like what is going on in my life? Because there are a lot of things that I don't understand. And there are a lot of things that, there are desires that I have that they're not being fulfilled. And this is related to a lot of different things. There are also just, I don't know, I'm not going to say I feel like I lack direction because it's not that, but there are things that I want to do, but in order for me to be able to do them, like I need more training. So one of the things that I want to be able to do is create content for brands, but take actual pictures with an actual camera, create videos with an actual camera so that it's just better quality. And then, so like creating content for brands has been a service that I've offered for however long anyway, but, I want to do it different where it's more so like meeting with the people and recording stuff, not just creating digital graphics, right? And so in order for me to do that, now the good thing is, I mentioned this before, through my church, I have been learning photography and videography. Like that's one of the dope things about serving on my church's creative team is that any skill that I want to learn, like as I've learned how to use a broadcast camera and like learning different settings and all of these things, like as I've served, I've basically gotten like free training that like a lot of people would pay for this training, and I've gotten it for free because in order for me to do well at what I'm doing, like I'll go to development nights and stuff like that they'll have, which is just really dope. So with that, I need a little bit more training before I can add that on. And I would also need to get an actual camera, you know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things that I know I'm going to do. But other than that, there's just been this, not dissatisfaction, I don't want to say that, but just this, I just feel really unsettled and just this wrestling with what am I doing with my life? And that may sound extreme, but I don't know how to explain it other than that. And there are things that I enjoy doing, but it's kind of like, just to be frank, if I'm going to continue to do as the Lord is leading me to invest more time in like unpaid things that I do, that's taking away time from paid things, because part of why I'm taking less clients than I was is because I really felt like the Lord said I needed to. And I see the benefit in it in the sense that, like I said, the entire month of August was this pruning season of cutting away just fears, insecurities, unhealthy mindsets, unhealthy habits, showing me where I need to be more disciplined in different areas, which ultimately, as I always say, we need to prepare for where we are trying to go. So if I'm wanting to have a solid foundation for whatever I'm going to do in the future at any point, regardless of what the goal is, it's always important to have a solid foundation. So I talk about that. And so with that, sometimes you have to get rid of unhealthy mindsets or unhealthy habits or thought processes, or maybe even unhealthy relationship dynamics where maybe that person or investing time into that relationship isn't, mutually beneficial or whatever. These are all things I've talked about on here in different points for like the entire time the show's existed, as I've talked about whatever with my life. But it's just like August really exposed a lot that was hindering me from what I need to do. So it really was like this, I almost felt like I was in boot camp and just like trying to grow. And so with that, okay, I besides being sick, like I just kind of feel like I'm on the other side of that. And yeah, I was sick and now I'm just like resting, which I have appreciated this rest because August was rough. So it's almost like just beautiful in a sense, which sounds wild, but it's kind of dope that I got sick when I got sick because I was already just feeling just worn down and really tired. And so, yeah, I've been able to just rest, right? And now I'm trying to figure out, okay, so now what? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I have bills, I have all these things. And so, I really do need to be making more money than what I'm making. I've been able to survive, so it's not that. But at the same time, I need to be making more money than I'm making. So I'm like, okay, Lord, if you don't want me to take as many subcontracting clients, okay, what are we going to supplement that with? I love that I've been able to invest a lot more time into other stuff. Even when I got to get back into creating content, like I've been sick. And also, we had the deaths last week that I talked about. And so that, I don't know, man, it just was a really, really heavy week. It literally went from that to then me being sick. So I haven't recorded anything in a couple weeks, but that's for those reasons. That aside, I have love that I got to get back into doing that. But still, you know what I'm saying? I have to be bringing in more, finances and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, Lord, what you got going on? What's next? Why did you have me? What were you preparing me for? Because he always prepares me and us before he promotes me and us. Like that's just what he does in general. He prepares us so that when he gives us whatever it is we've been working towards, praying for, whatever, he prepares us so that we steward it well when we get it. So, okay, you spent all of August preparing me for what? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. But aside from that, y'all, let's get into this Snatched 40s update because last Friday I did my in-body, which is basically like a weigh-in, but it's a lot more detailed because it shows you like your lean muscle, how much you've gained or lost or whatever, how much body fat percentage you've lost, and like all these other things that it's like super detailed. But I am down 11.4 pounds. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. You hear me? Y'all hear me? So I have really been, like I said, the biggest thing has been the way that I have shifted my eating. And it's not dieting at all because y'all listen, I had Culver's the day before yesterday. There are other times I had pizza last week, although the pizza, I don't know if that was the best idea because my stomach was not okay after that. But in general, though, I don't really eat processed foods at all. Typically, like every now and then I will, but for the most part, no. And then also when I make my meals, I really try to make sure that every meal has a protein, veggies, a fat, and a starch. You know what I'm saying? And so like having balanced bowls, as my accountability person would always say. And she sent me like this graphic of like kind of what the percentages should be. Some stuff I'll do gluten-free, some stuff I won't. So I'm not one of those 100% gluten-free or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because also stuff be more expensive if you try to eat healthier too. So like I pick and choose how I want to do whatever. That's been the biggest thing. But then also, yeah, like I said, I do CrossFit. And so what I love about that is as I'm coming down, but this is typically how I lose weight anyway. I always lose weight all over. So it's in some ways, sometimes it's hard to tell that I've lost weight. Now I noticed because the way my clothes have been fitting, like I figured I had lost something, but I wasn't really sure. But I love, I know it's not about the scale, but I love the way one of the coaches said, because I was like, I know it's not about the scale. Like you shouldn't get hung up on it, but at the same time, you want to see results. And the analogy that he made is he's like, it's like the fruit of the spirit. So the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. I should know this, but that's okay. I've been sick, so I don't know all the rest of them. Goodness, I think. Gentleness might be in there. I might be making that up. I don't even know. That's terrible, but whatever. The whole point is there should be some fruit. So there should be you seeing the evidence of whatever it is that you are doing, whatever. This is not just related to weight loss. Like if you are saying that you are working to get your college degree, right? There should be evidence of that. And that's going to be you passing classes. That's going to be you doing whatever. Same thing with weight loss. Like if I've been since like mid-May doing CrossFit and having like a healthier eating habits or whatever, then the fruit of that should be I'm getting smaller and the number on the scale is decreasing, right? But I don't even have a scale at home and I'm not going to get one. I'm just going to weigh myself on the InBody when she tells me to. When she doesn't tell me to, I don't worry about it, because at the end of the day, the things I appreciate even more than that is like I'm stronger. I appreciate that when I do a workout, I can feel myself getting stronger because I'm getting more to a point of they have like this is a target for how long this should take the average person to do this workout or whatever. And then they have the cap where the cap is, hey, this is how long you have. And if this is when we stop in type stuff. And it used to just be, okay, let me get as much as I could get done towards the cap, right? Now I'm noticing that my time when I finish is getting closer to being just like it's just outside of the average range, but it's closer to it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm noticing stuff like that. I'm noticing that when I run from Gizmo, because yes, I'm very childish when it comes to him. When I run from him and I run around the dining room table, I could run for longer periods of time. And when I stop, like, yeah, I'm having to catch my breath, but it's not this like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die type thing like it was when I first got him. So those are the things I appreciate even more than anything. But of course, yeah, the whole journey is the Snatched 40s journey. So of course, if I'm trying to be snatched, like, I want to see results in this, that, and the other. But yeah, so other than being sick and all that foolishness, that is the good news. I mean, being sick is probably helping me lose a few extra pounds just off GP anyway, even though I have been really intentional about making sure that I still eat, because I've noticed that, like, as much as it's hard to difficult to want to eat or whatever when you're not feeling well, I know it's important to still like get those nutrients in your body. And so I've been trying to be intentional about like today I actually cooked myself breakfast. And then I've really gotten into overnight oats lately. So that's an easy way for me to have like a balanced meal, because I'll even put like chia seeds in it. Well, I have this mix that has chia, hemp, and flax seeds. And so then that adds the fat portion or whatever. So I've really like just try to find the easiest ways to do what I need to do to have a balanced meal. And so I've been trying to be like really intentional about still eating food while I'm sick, who knows, that may have helped me to recover too, because I feel like this sickness is passing through me quicker than when I normally get sick like this. It could be the people that I know are praying for me, who knows, but shout out, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. So as always, make sure you take care of yourself mentally. Make sure you are taking care of yourself emotionally. Make sure you are taking care of yourself spiritually, whatever that looks like for you. We all have a spirit and we need to be healthy. Make sure that you are being healthy in your relationships. And I don't even know if I already said this, but make sure you're taking care of yourself physically as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for